Welcome, everyone to Yusuf Reacts. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic James Bond films of all time, Goldfinger 1964. From laser beams to deadly hats, this movie introduced us to some of the most legendary elements in spy cinema. So let's break it down and see what makes Goldfinger such a classic. Goldfinger follows British secret agent James Bond, played by the legendary Sean Connery, as he faces off against one of the franchise's most memorable villains, Auric Goldfinger. The story kicks off with Bond enjoying some downtime, but as we know, his peace never lasts long. Bond quickly discovers that Goldfinger has a knack for playing dirty, whether in cards or global schemes. Bond's investigation takes him to Switzerland, where he uncovers Goldfinger's real ambition: a plan to raid Fort Knox and destabilize the global economy by contaminating the U.S. gold reserve. Let's talk about the standout characters that make this film unforgettable. Of course, there's Bond himself. This is Sean Connery in his prime, cool and collected, and Goldfinger really solidifies the Bond tropes we know: Tootie's smooth one-liners, gadgets, and intense showdowns. Then, we have Auric Goldfinger, played by Gert Frobe. Goldfinger is a villain who's all about excesses, obsessed with gold, obviously, and his wealth lets him fund some pretty terrifying schemes. And let's not forget Oddjob, Goldfinger's henchman with a hat that doubles as a deadly weapon. Oddjob's silent, loyal, and incredibly strong, a combination that makes him one of the most memorable henchmen in Bond history. Goldfinger is also full of themes and iconic moments that have made it a cultural touchstone. Take the famous laser scene where Goldfinger taunts Bond with that chilling line, "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." This moment redefines suspense in spy movies. Another key theme here is luxury and decadence. From the exotic locations to Goldfinger's obsession with gold, the film emphasizes high stakes and high lifestyles. And Bond himself embodies this, with his gadgets, cars, and suits. Speaking of gadgets, this is the first film to feature Bond's iconic Aston Martin DB5, complete with an ejector seat, smokescreen, and more. This car set the standard for Bond's high-tech vehicles. So, why does Goldfinger still matter 60 years later? This film set the formula for Bond movies to come. It was the first to establish the larger-than-life villain, the over-the-top gadgets, and that unmistakable Bond style. The film's success helped make Bond a global phenomenon, and its influence extends beyond Bond. Goldfinger shaped the entire spy genre, inspiring other films, shows, and parodies. If you've seen gadgets in spy films or the trope of the flamboyant villain, you have Goldfinger to thank. While investigating a gold magnate smuggling, James Bond uncovers a plot to contaminate the Fort Knox gold reserve. British secret agent James Bond is tasked by the Bank of England and MI6 to investigate gold magnate Auric Goldfinger, who they suspect is building up a vast inventory of gold bars. At first, nothing seems all too special about the gold-obsessed tycoon. But after Bond gains knowledge of a secret scheme involving Goldfinger which is about to be initiated, codename Operation Grand Slam, he realizes that the fate of the entire Western economy may be at stake if the bullion dealer is not stopped. After destroying a drug laboratory in Latin America, MI6 agent James Bond Sean Connery vacations in Miami Beach. His superior, M. Bernard Lee, via CIA agent Felix Leiter Linder, directs Bond to observe bullion dealer Auric Goldfinger Gert Frobe at the hotel there. Bond discovers Goldfinger cheating at a high-stakes gin rummy game. Aided remotely by his employee, Jill Masterson Shirley Eden, who prompts him using binoculars and a one-way radio. Bond interrupts Jill and then blackmails Goldfinger into losing. After a night with Jill, Bond is knocked out by Goldfinger's Korean manservant Oddjob Harold Sakata. Bond comes round to find Jill dead, covered in gold paint, having died from skin suffocation. Miss Moneypenny Lois Maxwell. In London, the governor of the Bank of England Colonel Smithers Richard Vernon, and M tell Bond that fluctuating gold prices are allowing someone to Profit by selling bullion internationally. Gold costs 30 ounce in UK, but 110 ounce in Pakistan. Bond's objective is determining how Goldfinger smuggles gold across countries' borders. Goldfinger is a licensed jeweler, which allows him to operate legal metallurgical sites, where he can melt the gold and shape it into any shape he wants. But how he transports it across borders is unknown. Hugh Desmond Llewellyn supplies Bond with a modified Aston Martin DB5 and 2 tracking devices. Bond meets Goldfinger at his country club in Kent and plays a round of golf with him, wagering a bar of recovered Nazi gold provided by Mi-6 against 5,000 of Goldfinger's money. Goldfinger attempts to cheat using a magnetic golf ball, but Bond tricks him. Bond switches Goldfinger's ball, which he doesn't notice. And as per the rules, he lost for playing the wrong ball into losing the last hole and the match. Goldfinger warns Bond against interfering in his affairs, and Oddjob demonstrates his own formidable strength and the danger of the steel-rimmed hat he wears. Bond trails Goldfinger to Geneva, Switzerland. Goldfinger travels with his Rolls-Royce in the plane. There, Bond meets Jill's sister, Tilly Tanya Mallet, who attempts to shoot at Goldfinger with a rifle and fails. Bond sneaks into Goldfinger's refinery by tracking Goldfinger via a tracking device that he put in his car at the golf club, and overhears him telling Chinese nuclear physicist, Dr. Lingbert Kwauk, a communist Chinese nuclear fission specialist who provides Goldfinger with the dirty bomb to irradiate the gold inside Fort Knox, that he always travels with his Rolls-Royce Phantom 3. Hiding some of his gold in secret compartments, and melting the rest to incorporate it into the car's bodywork. Bond also overhears Goldfinger mention Operation Grand Slam. Leaving, Bond again encounters Tilly, who again tries to kill Goldfinger. An alarm is tripped and Oddjob kills Tilly with his lethal hat. Bond is captured and strapped to a table with an overhead industrial laser, the beam slicing through the surface toward him. Bond lies to Goldfinger, saying that Mi-6 knows about Operation Grand Slam. Goldfinger spares Bond's life so the Mi-6 agents keeping an eye on the compound can see him and think 007 is safe. Pilot Pussy Galore Honor Blackman FLIs the captive Bond to Goldfinger's stud farm near Louisville, Kentucky in a private jet. Bond activates his personal location beacon while he is on the plane and hides the transmitter in his shoe. Once there, Bond escapes his cell and witnesses Goldfinger's meeting with American mafiosi, who are supplying materials needed for Operation Grand Slam. Goldfinger plans to breach the U.S. bullion depository at Fort Knox by releasing Delta-9 nerve gas into the atmosphere, killing the personnel. Pussy recaptures Bond, and Goldfinger has all the mafiosi executed. Mr. Solo Martin Benson is the lone gangster who refuses to take part in Operation Grand Slam, and is later killed by Oddjob, then crushing his dead body in the car in which he is riding. Bond has put his message about the dawn raid on Fort Knox to the Felix in Solo's pocket without him noticing, along with his personal location finder. When the car is crushed, the beacon stops transmitting and Felix loses the location. Oddjob drives away with the crushed car in the back of his pickup. Felix though tracks down Oddjob and reaches the ranch where Bond is being held captive. Bond tells Goldfinger it would be impossible to move that much gold before American military forces intervened. Goldfinger hints he is not intending to steal it, and Bond deduces that Goldfinger plans to detonate a dirty bomb inside the vault to irradiate the gold, contaminating it with radiation for over half a century. Goldfinger's own gold will then increase in value and the Chinese gain an advantage from the resulting economic chaos. Goldfinger warns that any attempt to locate the bomb or interfere will result in the bomb being detonated at another vital U.S. location. That night, Bond seduces Pussy and convinces her that Goldfinger is mad. Operation Grand Slam launches with Pussy Galore's flying circus spraying gas over Fort Knox, seemingly killing the military guards and government personnel, including Felix Leiter. Goldfinger's private army breaks into Fort Knox. They blow up the main gate with dynamite and use the laser to cut into the vault. and accesses the vault as Goldfinger arrives in a helicopter with the bomb. In the vault, Goldfinger's henchman, Michael Mellinger, handcuffs Bond to the bomb. Unbeknownst to Goldfinger, Bond seduced Pussy and convinced her to alert the American authorities. After which the gas was replaced with a harmless substance. As the troops attack Goldfinger's men, he locks the vault. He removes his coat to reveal a U.S. Army colonel's uniform and escapes. Bond, Oddjob, and Kish are trapped inside the vault. Kish attempts to disarm the bomb, but Oddjob, loyal to Goldfinger, throws him to his death. Bond frees himself, but the physically stronger Oddjob batters him before he can stop the bomb. Bond electrocutes Oddjob to death, then forces open the cabinet containing the bomb, but he is unable to disarm the complex mechanism. After killing Goldfinger's men, U.S. troops open the vault. An atomic specialist rushes in and, with 7 seconds left on the countdown clock, simply turns off the device. Bond is being flown to the White House for lunch with the president. En route with Pussy, Goldfinger hijacks the plane. In a struggle for Goldfinger's revolver, the gun fires, shooting out a window, creating an explosive decompression. Goldfinger is blown out through the ruptured window. With the plane out of control, Bond and Pussy parachute safely from the aircraft before it crashes into the ocean. Sometime after, Leiter's search helicopter passes over the pair, who have landed in a wood, presumably close to the sea. Bond declares, "This is no time to be rescued," and draws the parachute over himself and Galore. That wraps up our look at Goldfinger. Let me know your favorite moments from the film in the comments. And if you're new to Bond or just revisiting the classics, I hope this inspires you to check it out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more film breakdowns.